Talk about color then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I think is like if you really look at the color pattern, you can say it's pop, but the theme and the concept is really not about the revolution is not about the product line. It's more about I use a lot of fluorescent color because I think that's the color that is at first it's produced recently. Before that, we don't have fluorescent color, and before that, white is the lightest color apparently in painting, or you say like lemon yellow. But now you have fluorescent color, so there's a whole another level of visual joy, right? You know what I mean? Like it's the white is not light enough. There's fluorescent color, and then when you take a picture of it, it confuses the camera. I think that's something I like because back in the time after the camera invented, people say painting is dead, but now camera's getting confused in front of the fluorescent color. I think that's really interesting, and also really I think fluorescent color is what's going on right now. Like I think you have to be fluorescent to exist. In terms like it's a metaphor because I think the high tech, because my work is all about social media and technology advancement, I'm questioning about it because it creates this new visual culture and new like relation between people. I'm talking about social media, like if you don't really broadcast yourself enough, or you don't post yourself once in a while, you sort of just disappeared among your friends or in the society. So I think in that case, fluorescent, it's how you have to be visually aggressive or just aggressive in general. Like before that, I always think about the TV. Before, when I was a kid, before my formative years, there's only like 12 channels, like 20 channels. You have to stick on one. You have to go circle around it. But now you have YouTube channel, you have thousands of channels. If one channel cannot catch your eyes within 1 second, you just switch it and never switch it back, maybe. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole idea of this fluorescent color came from. It's the being fluorescent.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you mention that because I love technology.
Yeah.
And I did not think about the technology of paint just progressing in the last 15 years.
Exactly.
So it's exciting to see you as a painter just go for it.
Exactly. I noticed that since 2012, when I was in Beijing, so all of a sudden we have 3G data, like the fast data, and we have smartphone. So all of a sudden in the subway or on the street, people start looking at the phone all the time. I was scared, to be honest. Like, what's going on? Like people used to look at each other, but now they're doing that on the social media. Like people think they're too important because once they post something, people have to listen to it because it's on social media. So I think that's something I want to document. That's what's going on these years. So that's how I document this internet thing. So if you look at this show, I have like 10, 12 sharks in the gallery, and I made maybe 40 sharks in total. So it's almost like a topic. When you search this topic on Google image or Google, all the image shows up. So that's just one topic. If you Google, like right now, I believe you Google shark painting Gao, they will show up all the shark paintings, and that's how I imitate this visual culture. I think it's interesting. It's not like a judgment, it's more like a document. To document what's going on right now, this whole unnatural visual culture is going on. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the first artists I interview who I actually collect, and I
appreciate that. Yeah.
I think your drawings are just so joyful too,
Thank you.
It might be the color. Could you take something like a scary shark?
Yeah.
And make it like, oh, I want to take it home with me.
Definitely playful and absurdity is part of my painting, humor in my painting, because you can say that's sort of part of my reaction to this visual culture, to this high technology social media thing, but it's actually just how I feel about it, and it's not really important for the spectator to get in, but you can get in, you can take, absolutely. But I want to feel like playful, absurd, humor in it, and really feel this culture, feel this whole internet thing. Yeah.
I also like the fact that I think they're very collectible, and they would add a lot to anyone's home. They have a good feeling that you could bring it into your house. You have a giant shark, but it just creates an awesome atmosphere.
Do you just say collectible? Yeah, I like that word. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another funny thing about this show, I just realized that it's only shark, right? So you have only shark, this object, and you have to focus on one, because you don't have choices. If there's a bear, there's a snake, you have to choose which one. There's only sharks, so you have to focus one. And also, so in terms of the object, right, the shark, I think it's eternal instincts when I select it. I don't really care why I select shark, but I think shark and all other objects I painted, bears and snake, they're also at some point represent wealthiness, right? Like the things people want to have in their home. People like to have skeletons of a crocodile or a shark in their home to represent a stage of life, right? I think that's interesting too, because that's what's going on right now. People like to have occupied dominant creatures, but that's just good to know. I think after I see these sharks, people tell me the shark is aggressive, it's dangerous, it's angry. That's good to know, but when I select it, I just trying to sort of imitate how the most people select or pick images online. They just go, when you go through social media, go through Google, you just all of a sudden you saw a picture, you're like, and then you download it, without any reason behind it. Either without any, you don't really think about the value of it in terms of the color combination. Is it the theme? Is it the artist who took it? Is it the name of it? We don't care. We just go, and we download it, and that's yours. And then you do whatever you want to that picture, and then you repost it. I think that's the copyright, the authority of an image it's so different than before. So I think that's also interesting. So that's why I randomly select pictures, but I approach the image 30, 40 times to make it less about the image anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
So are you going to continue with the sharks or introduce other animals, or how do you do that? What are you thinking for the future?
I actually no. I've been painting sharks for 2-3 years already. Just every now and then. It's kind of my logo now, at some point. But I'm working on different series of works. Actually, 4 series of works. I have a drawing series. I have the series I call the Parallel with Brightness, which I just paint random things. Sort of like the idea, David Shrinkling, one of those random thoughts, absurd thoughts. And then, but this is one of the series, and then that's also something I appreciate with Anya. When we have the studio visit, we are let's just focus on shark series this time. I think that's great, it's brilliant. And the show turned out marvelous, I think. And yeah, the skills are different, marvelous. I like it, but in the future, I will see, just like what people, like in terms of how long people will be interested in one trend, in one object, people will switch off that. It depends on what happened in the internet, the social media, and what happened in me, my life. And I might do something about immigrant because I'm going through that visa thing, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but I just randomly choose objects, but it's more about painting. My work is more about painting, you know, in terms of decision making. You know, you create problems, you create as you go along. You know, like I think that's the most exciting part. I mean, for all the artists, you know, the material, the painting, the surface, the brush works, the movements. Yeah.
Yeah, I always find that I'm most creative when I limit what I'm going to do at any moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much.
No problem.
It was great.
I appreciate it.